Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm feeling sassy today because, okay, I think I found something. I think I found cousin. I think I found a cousin that Erika might have in Chicago. She's calling Lauren, France, Abbas, Auntie. Um, I was just minding my own business on the internet like I always do. Minding my own business. Looking at like tweets from, I don't know, like 20 years ago or so. And I stumbled into a conversation between uh, Auntie Lori and Molly McCormick slash Anderson. I think she got married and she changed her name to Anderson. But her name is Molly McCormick, and it's an old Twitter account. And she claimed to be cousins with Erika. She lives in Chicago, Illinois. So I was like, okay. So I just Googled up like McCormick, Chicago, and boy, oh boy, I was surprised because the McCormick family in Chicago is huge, like very, very wealthy, very powerful, buildings, stadiums, the whole Gilded Age mansions. I mean, you name it. The rabbit hole goes deep. Okay, granted, this could be just a wild goose chase. This could be a boondoggle. This might not be the McCormicks. Okay, she might not be related to the McCormicks. She might be just like on the bad side of the track McCormicks, for all I know. I just want to say that as disclosure. But if she is a McCormick, wow. Erika has some connections, if that is indeed true. And I don't know. I just want to put this out there. So maybe Candace and her team can do some research into it, or any other mommy sleuths out there that are digging, and we'll see what we can find. But it's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. I'm going to put the tweets in the video so you can see them. And I'm also going to put like a little blip about the McCormick family. I apologize in advance for my Fisher Price video setup that I have going on because I'm just learning how to make videos. I'm not a videographer. I've been on YouTube for a long time, but I've never turned on the camera and talked. So I'm figuring it out. I'm doing the best I can. If you want like a really polished stream without with like a whole bunch of cool edits and fancy thumbnails with like 500 neon colors, yeah, that's probably not going to be me. But I do have some information if you want the information. And the McCormicks of Chicago. This is from the Encyclopedia of Chicago. And I will stick it in the video so you can read it. But, I mean, they're from like 1809. I mean, and they are a force in the business, cultural, and philanthropic life and history of the Chicago metropolitan area. I mean, wow. And I will say that the Molly McCormick on Twitter, she spells her name slightly differently. I think it's McCormack, M-A-C-K, and not McCormick, I-C-K. But you guys know that these families, they love like changing little letters here and there. They love changing from an A to an E, an E to an I, a C to a K. They love adding like an extra letter at the end of the name. I mean, Stein, Berg. I mean, they switch it up. I think they switch it up, they move it up. And after Candace's episode yesterday, I'm starting to wonder, like, who is this? Who are our parents really? Like, I mean, when you're that rich, do you just like ship your kid off to like live with somebody to be safe so nobody knows who they really are? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing out like a wild conspiracy theory. But makes you wonder, It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm going to stick this McCormick thing in there. And then when I was like minding my own business on the internet, looking around Chicago, looking around for the McCormicks in Chicago, oh, girl, I stumbled into some craziness. And when I say I stumbled into some craziness, I stumbled into some craziness. I stumbled into a crazy faction of the McCormick family. And I'm going to put those videos in here. And I can leave the link so you can go watch the whole video in its entirety after this video if you want to. But wow, just wow. Okay. I stumbled into a video about a lady named Katherine Dexter McCormick. She married into the McCormicks. She married a guy named Stanley McCormick. And he was like one of the, how'd they put it? Like craziest McCormicks. I mean, I don't remember the exact phrasing that the historian used, but yeah, Stanley had some issues. And not only did Stanley have some issues, his mommy had some issues, his mama Netty. And I'm going to drop that video for you guys to watch too. Just wow. Okay? Wow. Netty, oh my gosh. If this story is true about Netty on the wedding night, on Stanley and Katherine's wedding night, I mean, just, I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say. It's sick, it's weird, it's twisted. What can you say about this? I don't know. But another fun takeaway that I had from this is that on their honeymoon, they went to a Swiss chalet. I mean, in Switzerland. I mean, who that I guess Katherine Dexter's family owned in Switzerland? Who owns a Swiss chalet? I mean, come on. So, yeah, these McCormicks are well established, and I'm just really curious if there's any connection, because when I was also doing some research into the Chicago Gilded Age mansions and all these people, I kept running into this theme of gambling and lottery. And I can drop that clip in this video too. And you guys just let me know what you think. I'm just pulling on a thread over here in my lane. I appreciate you guys that have subscribed to my channel. I think I have like 35 subscribers, which is like so cool because I haven't really done a video of like me. So I think it's pretty cool that you've trusted me. And I hope that this is like a little reward of tea or information that you might be getting early. Because I have a knack for finding stuff early. I have a knack for finding stuff in general. And I'm just a sassy kind of person. I want to get out here and say, hey, what's up? What's going on? There's just a lot of different layers to this and threads to be pulled, and I'm going to be pulling some. So let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if this is just crazy town, a boondoggle, or not, because I think there might be something here. And please do not contact Molly McCormick. Please do not contact her. If anybody is allowed to contact her, that would be Candace. Let the queen reach out, because she's not going to answer you or I anyways. So I think Candace could probably contact her if she wanted to. So I'm just going to put it out there. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe not. We shall see. But that's what I got for you today, and I hope you enjoyed these. Even if, sorry about that. Like I said, Fisher Price video going on here. What was I gonna say? Oh, this even takes the family to Santa Barbara. Crazy, y'all. Crazy. Okay. I guess that's it for now. Please like. And yeah, I'll do another video when I have more stuff to share with you guys. I appreciate you watching. I really do. Have a great day. Thanks.
About Katherine Dexter McCormick and the birth of the birth control pill. So first of all, to understand why she was so interested in developing birth control and making it accessible to everybody else, y'all need to understand a little bit about the McCormicks. So I'm going to try to fit this all in a single paragraph on my trusty notebook here. There's a lot to be said for them, but one of the best quotes I've ever actually found of the McCormicks, it was actually written by a novelist named Arthur Meeker Jr., and he said that they possessed a certain not undistinguished goofiness. So in that, you can say quite a bit. You can infer quite a bit. This is one of the richest families in the world, and both in money and in personality. They range all over the board between left and right sides. Some of them are very central, and there are mental illnesses, both hilarious and tragic, just all over the board. Many of them are incredibly eccentric. One of them actually turned out to be a Arabian horse farmer, which I thought was really interesting. Some were Nazi and Confederate sympathizers, which is not so fun. Some used the newspapers for their own petty rivals. I'm looking at you, Sissy Patterson Medill. She was basically a granddaughter of one of the McCormicks, and she definitely used her newspaper to talk about Alice Roosevelt. We also have people like Robert Colonel McCormick, who briefly worked in the military, did not make any kind of honors, but insisted on being called the Colonel, and also believed that Britain was going to invade us in the ripe old year of 1950, and believed that we need to de-British our alphabet, language, and our education because they're trying to get our kids, y'all. So that's the family we're talking about today. But Katherine, as Patty had mentioned, married into this craziness. She was not actually blood-born of this family, but believe me, she had plenty with them. Now, before we also get into her, let's talk a little bit about children before him, but Stanley was, Mummy's favorite, and there were issues that come with being Mom's favorite, and he was trying to, get out of his shell a little bit. He had been going to college, and they meet each other in that, university track, and Stanley is just enamored with Katherine. Not only is she a beautiful young woman, she is feisty, and she knows how to converse. She knows how to talk, and she is smart. And she's got ambition and motivation that he's like, I don't want to do shit. Like, I'll let you do shit. Like, he had been raised to be the back-of-house handler of the McCormick Reaper Foundation, and he's like, I don't want to do that. But yeah, so he starts courting her and taking her to dinner, and they go to shows, and he brings her gifts. And this is pretty on par for society at the time. People who are in society are supposed to marry other people in society. And initially she had turned him down when he had proposed to her, but he was like, come on, I don't want to do shit, you do shit. I can help you do shit, I've got money. And she wanted to continue going to school, but he's like, lady, if you you marry me, I'll let you go to school. I'm assuming that that's how that happened because we don't actually know why they ended up getting married and staying together for so long, but I'm assuming that that's what happened. So they eventually wear her down. She caves to society's expectations of women at this time, and despite wanting to go to medical school, she actually gets married to Stanley on September of, hold on one second, dates. Yeah, I know, numbers. September 15th, 1904. She finally says yes, and she takes, everybody to the Swiss chateau her family owns, and they have this lovely wedding abroad. You can see the picture on the second page. This is probably the happiest point in their marriage, just so you know. And I say that because even this night is fraught with peril. To understand the relationship between Katherine and Stanley, you need to know a little bit about Netty, his mom. Netty is probably the entire source of the insanity in the McCormick family. And having anxiety and depression myself, I'm not going to shit on anyone else who has mental illness. That would just be hypocritical of me. But she didn't think that she needed help for anything, because at this point people don't think you need help for anything. She had gone through 2 miscarriages, lost 2 children at young ages, and she had lost her husband at the ripe old age of like 80. So she felt like God was testing her. And she felt that God had taken her children away because she was slovenly or was too frivolous. Meanwhile, Nettie was not a person who you would say was fun-loving. Like, she was a very serious person and very, like, devout. So, like, I don't know what kind of fun she thought she was having, but she truly believed that suffering and dourness was, like, the core essence of a good person. Now, all her other children grew up just fine. They married off, well, aside from Mary Virginia. Mary Virginia was a special case. But all her other children, you know, they grew up, they got married, they had kids, they moved on. But she really wanted to hang on to Stanley because he's her baby. And he had a fever when he was a little kid, and it almost killed him. So she was very attached to this kid. Didn't want another one to die, which, you know, mothers could understand that, right? Except she would make him sleep in the bed next to her at, you know, teenage years, and would tie his hands down so he wouldn't masturbate, and would, like, yeah, no, she was kind of nuts. So knowing that, she insisted that she ride in the carriage with them to the hotel on the wedding night, and that he needed to come home after he did the thing. And it's very unlikely that they actually ever consummated their marriage, because he had this kind of warped idea, thanks to Nettie, about sex and like how you shouldn't show your body to anybody. And like he had like great guilt around anything surrounding sexual encounters. He also had this kind of weird Oedipus thing going on where like, oh, mom equals lover, lover equals mom. Like it was very odd. But he'd also shown signs of instability at a very young age. So like Nettie didn't help worth a damn at all. So there was a whole like cyclical thing going on. So that's where you have to realize their marriage started off at. Now, we move on, destined for next page. So after they get married, they try to make a go of it. They spend a year in Chicago living under Nettie's thumb. And, you know, at this point, Katherine's had it. She's like, nah, we're moving. So they moved to Brookline, Massachusetts, and she thinks that this is going to give Stanley, you know, a better foundation, and that he's going to, you know, be better outside of his crazy mom's thumb, you know? And this does not go well at all. Stanley starts to actually slide down a little bit. He starts losing it. He starts exhibiting signs of dementia and amnesia, and he actually has violent outbursts, enough that he actually ends up getting admitted to a asylum. It's the McLean Hospital for the Insane in Boston, Massachusetts. So, suffice to say, he's not having a good time. Now, at this point, it's pretty apparent that Stanley is not going to ever be a normal husband, a normal child, a normal anything. So they start making plans for him, like they did his sister, Mary Virginia, who, and by the way, he was officially diagnosed with something called dementia praecox, which is old speak for schizophrenia. His sister had also been diagnosed with the same thing. This is also part of Nettie's like, oh my God, I'm a terrible mom. God's punishing me because my kids are crazy. She had that thought going in her mind, which is also why she continued hovering over Stanley. So 2 of her kids have schizophrenia, and we have no idea how to treat schizophrenia in the 1900s. We think that diet and good air and talking about it to somebody who doesn't know you is going to fix things, and it doesn't. So in 1905, he moves to Brookline with Katherine. He then goes into an asylum. 1906, at the age of 32, he gets diagnosed with dementia praecoxa, and the family starts planning how he's going to live out the rest of his life. And by 1908, he actually moves to a place called Riven Rock in California. It's just outside Santa Barbara. Riven Rock was actually originally built for his sister to live out her life. But apparently we don't care about Mary Virginia anymore. She gets kicked out and sent to an asylum for a while before she goes off to live her own interesting life. But that's another talk. So she gets pushed out, and Stanley moves into Riven Rock. And at this point, the connection between Katherine and Stanley gets really it's almost not there. She wanted to be there for her husband. She wanted to help take care of him. She was very devoted to making sure that he had a good quality of life, even if he was not able to be the husband that she thought he would be. The family, on the other hand, was like totally willing to put him away and not really think about him and give him like the basic care that he needed.
of them not liking her being married to it, like somewhat contributing to that?
Absolutely. The Medills, the McCormicks, the Pattersons, they all kind of like were in their own little like family cult, so to speak, and they owned between them like 30 newspapers across the country. And yeah, no, they were big movers in the newspaper world and the journalist world, and they absolutely were like, good. I don't care. She's not going to make it into our obituaries. And because she didn't have any children to fight for her, nobody really cared. So we have to be her children and fight for her.